Good morning, everyone. It is such a delight to get to be here with you today. My name is Carrie Marino, and if we are meeting for the first time, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome back to all of you that are returning. I am going to be talking to you today about mindset work, and I'm also going to share a yoga practice with you. So if you don't already, go ahead and get a yoga mat and a blanket so you'll have it when it's practice time. If you want to grab a pen and a journal to take some notes, by all means, go for it. In case we have not met before, my work that I do in the world is as a yoga therapist and a mindset coach, an inner work coach, truly. And what that means is that I help people to live their most joyful and pleasurable life by tapping into the power of their body, mind, and spirit. So this includes shadow work and healing work. This includes self-awareness work, self-inquiry work. This includes embodiment. This includes energetics. This includes spirituality. It covers a big range, but my mission is to help you live a more joyful and pleasurable life by doing those things. Today, let's get into mindset. Mindset is this practice, and I call it a practice for a reason, because it's not something that we're supposed to get perfect all of the time. It is something that we work with in our lives. Mindset is this practice that's rooted on the idea that the thoughts you have matter and they hold a certain power. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there is this sutra that talks about how our thoughts are waves of energy moving through us. And I love this way of thinking about our thoughts because it highlights that our thoughts are not like this factual bit of information. They're opinions, they're data, they're information about the beliefs inside of us. And when we view our thoughts not as facts and as opinions, as these waves of energy, it gives us a little more room to pull back from what they're telling us and consider that we get to choose our thoughts. Now, you may have heard of the law of attraction or the spiritual science of manifestation. And although I totally love these teachings, I also know that for most of you, there is a part of mindset work that feels like gaslighting, that feels like it's ignoring our reality, it's ignoring your emotions, it's ignoring the truths as you see them. And what I want to say before we really get more into mindset is that whatever you're feeling, whatever your emotions are, that they're really important information. And if you're like most of the people that I work with, you need help. You need people that can listen to those. You need people that can hold space for you in those. You need people who can validate your experience and offer perspective and just be that loving container for you around it. So when we go into applying mindset work, know that it's not meant to stifle out or discount in any way the emotions that you have. It's meant to round it out. It's meant to give you a greater perspective and ability to view a larger picture of what you're walking through rather than just the hard and fast truth of what your thoughts are telling you and the hard and fast truth of what your emotions are telling you. So thoughts have power. Thoughts are waves of energy moving through you. Mindset work is all about acknowledging within ourselves, are the thoughts that I am thinking supporting me to live in a way that is in alignment with how I want to live, how I want to see the world, how I want to view my relationships, how I want to live in terms of, is this expression, these thoughts in my mind, serving me or not? And that inner dialogue, that inner resource inside of you that can discern, are these thoughts helping me or hurting me? Are these thoughts supporting me or are they making me feel stressed and anxious? That inner discernment inside of you is really where the mindset work comes alive. after we've acknowledged our thoughts, after we've acknowledged our emotions, after we've taken some time to tune in and love on ourselves through that, this is where the mindset work comes out to play. And it gives us that place where we can acknowledge what we want to be thinking, what is supportive of the life that we want to create for ourselves, what is supportive of the belief system that's going to manifest a harmonious relationship with our experience, both personally and in our lives and in our work and in our relationships and with our children and in all of the ways. So when you get to that spot right there, where you're asking yourself, is this serving me or not? Then you can start to think about, feel into what you want. What do you desire? And what kind of thoughts are actually going to be supportive of you receiving that thing, of you believing that it's possible for you, of you moving away from comparison or judgment or thoughts that are rooted in past experiences that are keeping you from seeing what is right in front of you right now. How can you direct your thoughts in a way that really serve you, that help you? So many of us are getting stuck in identification with our thoughts and missing out on this really sweet opportunity of directing our thoughts. There's this saying, energy flows where awareness goes. And I love that, right? Because remember, thoughts are waves of energy. And where we put our thought energy, we're investing in something. And what we invest in is what we cultivate. It's what we grow. It's what we make more of in our lives. With mindset work, it's really important for us to be able to do some background work for ourselves so that we know what we want to set our GPS to. And I think that this is something that not a lot of us are spending much time on. We're too focused on what we think we can have, what we think is possible for us, and all the other opinions that come up inside. So one of the questions that I have for you is, what do you want more of in your life? And I want you to take a moment, maybe even just close your eyes for a second, pull back from all the thoughts in your mind, and ask yourself that simple question: what do I want more of in my life? What would I like to experience more often? Take some breaths as you drop into yourself and sit with that question. It's totally okay if you feel unclear. If you get some channeled messages from inside of you, some clarity around, some inner knowing around what you do want more of, you can write those down if you want to. In the people that I have the blessing of being close to in my work, my one-on-one clients, the groups that I lead, I can tell you that there are some themes that I see in terms of what people want more of. And generally, they're things like more love, more connection, more enriching community, more feelings of safety and support, sturdiness, certainty, joy, play, ease, relaxation, this kind of stuff. So I'm curious for you, and if you're doing this via recording, feel free to send me a message. I'd love to know, what do you want more of in your life? Part of how our brains work is that they're going to orient towards the negative things. There was a research study that came out and it said 90% of our thoughts are the same day after day after day. The same thoughts every day. And that 80% of those thoughts in this research study were negative. So thoughts are energy and they hold a power, and where we direct our thoughts creates what we're investing into. And 90% of our thoughts are the same every day, and 80% of them are negative. No wonder we have so much stress. No wonder we have so much anxiety. No wonder we have so much depression going on in our world. No wonder we have so much disconnect and loneliness, because our thoughts are literally naturally going towards all of these things that are focused on what's going wrong. And whether you mean to or not, you might be going through your life, if you're like most people, unconsciously looking for evidence of how you can't have what you want, how things are not going the way that they should, how the shoe is definitely going to come and drop, so you better watch out, how this and that, how you need to be afraid. And discernment, by the way, super big fan. Please be discerning as you move through your life, but also allow yourself to approach your life from a different vantage point. And that takes a conscious perspective. So in other words, be discerning when you're in a relationship with somebody. Let's say you're starting a new relationship with a friend or a romantic partner. You want to be discerning about who that person is showing you that they are and whether or not they're a good fit for you, while also holding the mindset practice that this world loves and supports you, that you are good enough just as you are, that you have plenty to bring to the table, that you are interesting and desirable, while holding that inner compass that's directing you towards the belief that you can receive relationships that are meaningful and wonderful for you. So thoughts are powerful, they're energy, we're directing them unconsciously or consciously towards something that we're investing in. When we know what we want more of, we can start to select thoughts that support that. So I want to share a little personal example with you about this work, and then we're going to get into some yoga practice together. Recently, my family has been going through a pretty intense transitional time. My very, very healthy husband had a health emergency that caused a stroke, and it was a really, really challenging period in our lives where there were many days of hospitalization, lots of uncertainty, and lots of medical care coming in. And then over the course of a couple of months, my husband has healed very dramatically. Like, he is fully functional to the point that he is ready to go back to work. And very recently, he did go back to work. And throughout this process, there's been parts of me, like tender places inside of me, that have been really afraid, that have been really worried, that have had true dangerous things on my plate to look at. There's parts of me that have matured and shifted by going through this. And ultimately, at the end of that 2-month cocoon period of us healing and how safe and wonderful that felt, it was time. It was time for my husband to go back out into the world. And this triggered a lot of anxiousness in me. It triggered a lot of worry about his safety and well-being. And all along the way, all along this journey, when we found out that he had a stroke, when he was in the hospital, when he came home from the hospital, when we were in this healing and cocoon place, and he's moving back out into the workforce. He is a workhorse too, by the way. I had to really work with my mindset along the way, because I could either be looking for evidence of how things were not going well and how he was not healing, or things were still going wrong, or this care provider, that. But instead, I allowed myself to be discerning about what I was seeing with him. I allowed myself to celebrate the truth that his speech was improving, that his memory was improving. I allowed myself to see that at this point now, my husband is ready. He has healed so wonderfully that he is ready to go back out into the world and share his gifts. And I can trust that he will come home each day and be safe, and that he'll be loved and supported, and people will be understanding of what we've gone through. It's a mindset practice that I've really had to work with all along the way to believe that the reality that I wanted to create of my husband's health and well-being was possible, even when there were plenty of triggers along the way that really poked holes in that belief and stirred fear up in that belief. And I can tell you that because of that mindset work, this journey has been a lot easier. I've been able to see a lot more of the good. I've been able to celebrate all the progress along the way. And I've been able to move into a place of knowing that the universe, that God, that source has my back. And I don't share that with you to like sit up here on my high horse and act like I've got it all figured out, because believe me, honey, I do not. I am human in the same way that you are. But it highlights this process inside and like how complicated this work can be, and also just how good this work is when we can do it for ourselves. Mindset work is not about not feeling your feelings. It is about feeling your feelings and orienting yourself towards what you want, because I believe in my heart of hearts that your desires and your wants are God speaking to you through you. And these brains of ours are hardwired to orient towards what is going wrong, looking for evidence of negative things that we might need to watch out for and protect ourselves from. And this place of constantly guarding ourselves, of constantly looking for the wrong, is not serving us. It takes a conscious effort for us to redirect and choose love and choose to believe and choose to trust and choose to see the good. And that journey is so impactful for all of us. Let's go ahead and get out your yoga mat if you don't already have it. And we're going to do a practice that really just gets you into your body at first, and then also tunes you into applying mindset work from an embodied perspective. Roll out your mat and have a blanket nearby. And then we're going to get started standing. Move with me up towards the front of your mat. And then have your feet hip-width distance apart. Stand up nice and tall. Relax your shoulders back. And I've just talked your ear off. So I want to take a little time to be quiet together and to give you some space to hear everything that I've shared and come home to yourself from just being time with yourself. Take a few very slow breaths in and out through your nose. Bring awareness into the whole of your body. As you're ready, step your right foot back and go ahead and press your right heel down. You're going to have your hips and toes pointing more forward in their orientation, your heart center more forward. And then on an inhale, take your arms up. Go ahead and bend your left knee. Let this yoga be a way of turning your attention into yourself. Aware of the sensations in your body. Next exhale, ease your arms down, and then gradually step forward and come onto the tippy toes of your right foot. So your heel is up, your right tippy toes are down. Stand up tall here, chest in a position where it can open, your collarbones can spread apart. Gradually raise your right knee. You can take your time to do this up towards your belly button, and then bring your hands forward and hold on to the front of your right knee. During this practice, I want to encourage you to hold the space for yourself, this sacred intention that you are worthy just as you are. You are inherently good inside. Next exhale, go ahead and ease your right foot down and then move into an easy standing twist. So your arms are swaying and twisting, your torso is turning. Maybe you're gazing back over your shoulder. You are a whole person. You may be doing some work to learn and grow, and you are already good enough. You are already worthy. You are already whole. You have so many answers inside of you. And right now, you're just really dropping into that sweet space of tuning in and noticing. Come back to a place of stillness. Let your arms relax alongside you. And then right foot stays forward this time. Left foot steps back, heel down. Hips and heart more oriented towards the front of the mat. When you're ready, inhale, take your arms up. We're back in warrior one, just on side number 2. Feel into the sensations of your body. Notice into the experience of your breath. Your body is breathing for you. How cool is that? Notice your breath. Next exhale, go ahead and ease your arms down and then slowly come up onto the tippy toes of your left foot. So you've stepped your left foot forward. Stand tall in your body. Roll your shoulders back and down so that your collarbones spread. Your chest takes up a little more space. And then perhaps cue on your deep core muscles. You engage through your pelvis. You wrap the sides of your belly towards the middle. And out of that deep core support, start to lift your left leg up towards your belly button. Sweep your hands around and hold the front of your knee. This sacred intention of really acknowledging within yourself that you are worthy, you are good enough, you are whole, is a movement away from comparison and scarcity and judgment and trauma. You're already working with your mindset right now. Slowly bring your left foot down. And then I'm going to turn just so you can see me a little bit better. We're going to do a little shaking practice. Shake out your legs, shake out your knee, your hip. Now, just to remind you, everyone questions their worth. Go ahead and swing your leg around forward and back. Everyone everywhere struggles with judgment sometimes. Everyone everywhere has some inclination towards scarcity at times. So literally remove any part of you that's like, gosh, I do that so much, or judges yourself for doing that. You are normal. Go ahead and switch feet, shake it out. And just because that is normal does not mean that we want to ignore it, right? We want to acknowledge those inclinations. We want to redirect towards what is more harmonious energy usage, right? This yoga practice is a conscious place for you to choose what you're doing with that energy. Standing with your feet more hip width apart, bring your hands to your hips. Actually, place your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and then start to circle your hips around. And if this feels funny to you, if it feels awkward in your body, I want to encourage you just to do it anyways. Moving our body is a very powerful way of shifting the way that we feel, shifting the thoughts that we're having, getting unstuck. Go ahead and switch the way your hips are moving. Bring your breath into it. Come all the way back to stillness, and then step wide on your yoga mat. Turn your toes out and your heels in. Bend your knees and lower down, and then gently switch back and forth, lunging from side to side to warm up your legs. During this moment, I want to invite you to look for the evidence of how things are going well. You're here right now. You're doing this practice right now. That's a really big win. I think that's a huge win. Go ahead and come into stillness. Let your hands settle on your knees and thighs. Let your upper body lean forward. Your shoulders are going to move up by your ears. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, twist your left shoulder forward and down. Inhale, come back up to the middle, nice and slow, staying low in the lunge, in the squat. And then as you exhale, right shoulder forward and down to twist. And we're going to do that one more time each way. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, turn and twist. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, turn and twist. Inhale back to the center. We're going to pause here as you exhale, staying low in the squat. Next, inhale, come all the way up, take your arms out and up high over your head. As you exhale, bring your hands together at your heart, turn your big toes in and your heels out. Slowly fold forward and down. Let your head and neck relax and hang heavy. With your fingertips grounded, inhale, lengthen straight forward, lift up about halfway and stretch your spine long. Exhale, fold your head down towards your knees. Follow your breath. Inhale, lengthen, stretch long through your spine. Exhale, fold back in. Last one, inhale, stretch long. Exhale, fold back in. Let's hold here for a few breaths. Direct your attention to what is going well. Your body is moving. You have a home. Fresh water to drink. Slowly push your feet down. Squeeze the muscles of your legs into the bone like you're giving your legs a hug from all sides. And then out of that sturdy, sturdy base, come all the way up to stand. Once your blood pressure has had a second to catch up with you, come back to that goddess squat position with heels in and toes out, and then lower down. From there, bring your elbows out to the sides of your shoulders. Spread your fingers out wide. I'm going to come just a little bit closer so you can see this arm position more clearly. And I want you to remember your answer to that question earlier. What do you want to cultivate more of in your life? Do you want to believe that this world loves and supports you? Do you want to believe that your desires are God speaking to you through you? Do you want to believe that good things are possible? Do you want to believe that you can trust? Do you want to believe that you are good enough? Now, I'm not saying that you orienting yourself towards what you want to cultivate, of having the mindset of it's possible, isn't vulnerable, because it is. When we let ourselves want, you're almost there, by the way, it's inherently risky. Exhale, ease your arms down. Whew. All right, turn your toes in, walk your feet in, come back up towards the front of your mat. Back to easy standing twist. Doing the mindset work orients us towards what we want to cultivate, being in harmony and in alignment with what our inner knowing is calling us to. And sometimes that means we have to grow, we have to learn, we have to take a risk. And that risk is worth it. That growing is worth it. Come all the way back to stillness, friends. And then inhale, take your arms out to the side and way up over your head. As you exhale, join your palms, bend your knees, fold forward and down, and go ahead and walk back to plank pose. Take a breath in there at the top. As you exhale, lower yourself down onto the mat. Untuck your toes, engage your back body. Inhale, take your heart forward and up. Exhale, ease it on down. Strong back. Inhale, come forward and up. Exhale, come down. One more. Inhale, come forward and up. Exhale, come down. As you inhale, press up slowly to your hands and knees. Shift your knees out wide. Point your big toes towards the middle. And then move your hips back towards your heels. This first option is called child's pose. Your hands go forward a lot. Your heart lowers down. Another possibility is called puppy pose. Your knees would be hip width, feet hip width. Hands go forward, heart lowers down. Two good options. From child's pose or puppy, come up to your hands and knees. Place your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And we'll move through some cat cows. As you inhale, soften your belly down, tip your nose out and then up. As you exhale, tuck your chin, squeeze your belly in and up. Inhale, soften your belly, soften your pelvis, tip your nose out and up. Exhale, squeeze the muscles in your pelvis towards the middle, wrap your belly in and up towards the middle, tuck your chin. Inhale, reopen. Exhale one more time. Inhale back to more of a neutral spine. From here, take your left ankle and kickstand it, send it out to the left side of your mat. Straighten out your right leg, raise up through your right arm. If you want to go through and do a variation where we've got both legs straight, go for it. We're here in side plank. And we're breathing and holding. You want to take your arm forward over your ear for this last breath, go for it. And then directly over to the other side. No rush to get you there. Mindset work asks us to hold our whole truth, our thoughts, our feelings, our fears, our worries, our desires, and then to orient ourselves towards what is going to be in the interest of our best and highest good. what is going to support us. Invest our energy, come down into what we long for, what we want to have. Go ahead and sit on your blanket. I want to encourage you to have this blanket folded up. And I'm going to sit facing you just so we can see each other better, but you can sit however it best works for you. Come into a simple cross-legged position. And you might like to do just a little bit of wiggling to get your pelvis situated just right. Then as you're ready, take your fingertips and put them on the mat out to each side of your hips. Stretch tall through your spine. Take an inhale, send your right arm up and over, leaning into any degree of a side bend. And you don't have to go to your deepest edge. You can just go to where it first gets interesting. And then gradually going further forward when your body gives you the yes. So right now, I want to play with this with you. I want to invite you to think a thought that is going to intentionally move you in the direction of how you want to live, how you want to look at things. One more breath here in this side bend. Then on an exhale, slowly come up. Take an inhale at the top, reach down, alternate the way that your legs are crossed. Inhale, take your left arm up, and then start to go into that side bend. Take your time. This is one of our longest holds of this practice today. And you hold yourself in the fullness of your experience, your thoughts, your desires, your worries, your fears. And you orient yourself discerningly towards what you want to cultivate. Notice how that feels in your body. So in the instance of my husband and our journey, I want to believe that all is well. Go ahead and come on up. Because it is. So noticing, friend, in your body, like, what does it feel like when I cultivate that? Let's take a moment here to put your hands together, maybe at your heart center. We're going to end seated today. And our yoga practice, that is seated. In this quiet space, just be with yourself. That's enough. It's more than enough just to be present. Self-aware. Gradually open up your eyes. How did that feel to you? I want to know. You can send me a message. If you're doing this via recording, you can write it in the chat if you're here live. How did that feel to you? Calming. That seems to be a theme. As you walk away from today's session, I want you to take with you the truth that your feelings matter and your thoughts are important. and you need to listen to those and acknowledge them. And the powerful truth that also you get to choose what you direct your thoughts towards, what you're orienting, what you're calibrating yourself towards. And mindset work is that beautiful practice of holding your truth and orienting consciously in direction that's in the greatest good for you. If you are interested in more support, more yoga practice, or more support in this arena, I do have an opening for one new private one-on-one inner work and yoga coaching client. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link in the email that I'll send to you that gives you the opportunity to schedule a free consult and see if we're a good fit for each other and to learn more about it. I look forward to seeing you next month for another free workshop. Bye-bye, everyone.